it's something that you cannot overflow because it's very important. Why? Because it's not like men do not have this change they go through too. But trust me, for a girl, being a girl is different from when you become a teenager, when you become a young adult, when you become a woman, when you become a mother. You see this process, this change, even starting from your body. Okay, I wanted to say voice, but of course, the men voice too also changes. It has a lot to do with ourselves and women. We have this change every now and then, and which is very important for us to focus on our mental health. So we have an amazing guest that will be talking to us on mental health for women because she is a pro in that area. But before we introduce our guest and bring her on board, let's quickly go for a tip. And this tip is to have a good mental health. So let's watch this tip. I'll be right back to the studio to continue the program. Stay with us.
8 tips for a good mental health. Mental health is social, psychological, and emotional well-being. Being in a good state of mental health means that you can think clearly, solve problems, and get through the day without anxiety, depression, or other conditions interfering with your activities or interpersonal relationships. Tips to improve a good mental health. Manage your stress levels. Keep control of your stress can make a world of difference when it comes to your mental health, especially if you live with anxiety, and anxiety is on the rise as research suggests. There are several ways you can manage your stress levels. Go out for a walk, dance to your favorite song, do some coloring, or read a thrilling new book. These tips may help you, but remember that it is a personal experience, meaning that each person uses different ways to manage their stress levels. Try different things and see what works for you. Be mindful. Being in the present is important for managing stress, especially as our modern lives are in constant motion. According to Mindful, a non-profit organization, mindfulness is the basic human ability to be fully present, aware of where we are and what we are doing, and not overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. Try practicing a little mindfulness every day. Maintain relationships. The people around us have more of an impact on our mental health than we think. There are those who bring us joy and others who bring us misery. Remove toxic relationships from your circle. They not only bring you down, they contribute to additional stress. Make sure to maintain your interpersonal relationships with family and friends. Close relationships with people increase your sense of support and fulfill the social aspect of your being. If you do not have close friends, get involved in your community or sign up for an activity. You will meet new people that can become your close friends. Make sure you get the right amount of sleep. We all know the importance of a good night's sleep, and yet we often neglect it. On average, adults need between 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. If you have trouble falling asleep, try deep breathing or put on background calming music. Another trick is to not look at electronic devices 1 to 2 hours before going to bed. By looking at a screen, especially in the dark, if you're in bed, you are unbalancing the melatonin levels in your brain, which help with falling and staying asleep. Follow a healthy diet. What we eat can have an impact on how we feel. If you eat too much junk food or miss out on important nutrients, your body will be negatively affected. This doesn't mean you should avoid your favorite junk foods completely. You have to practice moderation. Insert healthier foods like fruit and vegetables in your diet, and don't feel badly when you have the occasional indulgence. Exercise a little every day. A lot of people groan at the dreaded word exercise, but there is no need to fear. Exercise can mean going to the gym and following a regimented routine, but it can also be taking a daily walk around the block, depending on your schedule and health. There are countless ways to exercise. Even just 10 minutes at a time can make a difference. When you exercise, you release endorphins in your brain, which elevates the chemicals that make you feel good. Keep your work-life balance. Sometimes the lines between work and life are blurred, especially when our work emails are always accessible on our phones. Although it might be tempting to check that email that just came in after your work hours, don't look at it. Make sure that there is a separation between your work life and personal life, meaning that you maintain a healthy and enjoyable personal life outside. Reach out to others when in need. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you're struggling. Reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of strength. Call a friend to talk or visit a community organization that can connect you with the resources that will best help you.
Okay, welcome back. Yes, you're watching Women's Corner, and that is an amazing tip to actually have a good mental health. Like I said, we are talking about mental health for women. And I have Ola Kumbi Oyedele. Well, she is a mental health professional. She is a clinical psychology. She actually attained a clinical psychology from Chicago School of Psychology. She is also a licensed clinical professional counselor. She is a certified alcohol and drug counselor. She is a clinical service provider, a certified mental health first aid trainer, and also she's a founder of Living Vines Mental Health Foundation. Like I told you, she's a lot of certified. So she is the perfect person for this topic. Can we have Olakumbi on the screen? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining.
It's good to have. Thank you. It's good. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Okay, so we are going to talk about mental health for women. First thing first, when we talk about mental health, in what aspect should we be looking at for women, basically? If we want to talk about mental health, because it has a whole lot to talk about, to think of. But if you want to really focus on mental health for women, which angle would you be coming from?
Well, I think there's so many angles that we need to come from. It's hard to just focus on. I really enjoy the clips that we just finished watching. It really covers a lot of gamuts, and it's hard for us to focus on one thing. But I think for one thing that we might focus on is the mind of a woman. We are very we Most women are have different aspects of them and the responsibilities and the roles that let me focus on two: the mind and also the responsibility that we have. When a woman is born, right? Typically a girl growing up has a lot of hormones. Our hormones are different from the kind of hormones that in a boy. And so, even in as we start our period and all of that, as we grow, the hormones grow with it. We see a lot of girls struggling with hormonal issues, balance, and all of those things that happen with them. And all of that, if not managed, even as little children, little girls, can cause stress. And so, as we grow, right, we see that, okay, we start getting used to our body changes and all of those things. And then even as women continue, right, they have menopause and all of that. All those things, as we are going to, we also have responsibilities that come with different roles in our life as we grow. And so all of those things come with stress as we go, if those things are not managed properly. I feel like as women, we're typically told, right, to be strong. You can handle it, without people really sitting us down to talk about how to manage our emotions and all the stress and all the things that come with being a woman that men cannot relate with. So we are very unique. We are blessed, but we also have responsibilities and stress that comes from within that we need to manage frequently. So those are things that our role, like our body, the way our body responds to things, our emotions, our mind. How are we taking care of ourselves? Because those things carry on, right? Um I speak to a lot of women, and I see that even from youth, from young to old, we're still dealing with a lot of things. The society expects us, the expectation of the society just makes us feel like we have to be strong, we have to carry all those things, without talking about how do we manage our emotions, how do we manage our feelings and the stress that comes with just being a woman and the responsibility that comes with that. So those are some of the things that I really want to address, and how, so that we can actually talk as women, and how the expectation, I think women are expected to be perfect. We're expected to have everything be perfect, to know, be strong when different things happen, you can do it. But what if you're struggling? How do we actually talk about it and find help in those ways? Sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So you said something. There are a lot of things people expect from women, even naturally. It's not just about the men. Even women expect from their fellow women, and that is perfection, which I think anyone who thinks perfection is a normal thing, I think that's a mental health problem. Actually, for me, I don't know. I just believe that you should. There is nothing perfect. So if you're thinking
Right.
everything around you or everything about a woman has to be perfect, then that is where I think they need to really, really check that person. So let's talk about the perfection that everybody demands from women. And that has
Yes.
made a lot of women have, this sometimes this inferiority complex, mental issues, even sometimes they resort to taking, drugs. Do you understand? Some of
Yes.
them can't do without, when they feel weak, they don't think they need to rest. They don't think they need to sleep. They just go for any self medication, you understand, just to probably
Mm.
get back on their feet. And that is what is, will I say, gradually killing them softly without them even knowing. So if you're to address someone,
Yes.
a woman actually who believes that everything has to be perfect when it comes to her, and in a mind, she just believes that this is what people expect from her. And she has already accustomed herself to such expectation that she's always working tirelessly to fit into that box or ideas of people. What would you say to her if she was right in your presence? What would you advise her to do?
Well, I'll let her know that first of all, she's not alone. There are a lot of us that deal with stuff like that, right? That is what is expected. Because things are expected does not mean that that is how it should be. And so, I would let her, I'll sit her down and also express to her that is, unrealistic. Our mind tells us, and the people around us expect us to. At a certain age, we do this, you should have this and all of that. The expectation and unfulfilled can cause shame. It can cause us to be angry at ourselves. And those things will move us away. Those things are mental blocks. So I will let her know that, see, how long, as she has been, as we all have been dealing with this unrealistic expectations and perfectionism, how long has it, how helpful has it been? Right? What it causes, the anxiety, depression, and also causes, like you said, sometimes substance use. So one thing we need to do, I would let her know, is we need to work on focusing on your strength. What are you good at? Right? And let's work on what you're good at, and celebrate yourself. What are the things that you have done? We need to celebrate those things. We need to work on the things that, let's focus on the things that we can control and the things we cannot control. And we work on the things we cannot control, we leave it and we work on the things that we can control. We can't control other people, we can't control how other people expect us to have. No, we can't control, but you can control yourself, you can manage yourself, you can work on yourself. So work on bettering yourself, work on your strength, celebrate your strength, and the things that you're not able to, because you're not perfect, your weaknesses, we work on, as much as possible. We can try as much delegating, right? Identify the people in your life that are able to amplify or work with you in your areas of weaknesses, or you can delegate or ask them for help. Always ask for help. I'll also say she needs to find a group of people that can speak into her life, right? I always say that every girl needs a mentor, right? Because a good mentor, because there are some people out there, there are women out there that have gone through um, challenges of going through some of the things that you're going through, that are willing to then advise you or support you through that process. So we definitely need to also encourage girls to seek help, to ask. Don't feel like you have done this alone. The good thing is what you have gone through, other people have passed through it, and some people are willing to share and support you. Look for your own your cheerleading, people that would lead you, cheer you on, and support you in that journey. So that's one of some of the things that I would also say practice stress management. Being stress management is very important. You learn to what are your self care? What are some things that you need to take care of yourself? How do you like to be taken? Some people have different ways that they take care of themselves. So we have different things that work for us. If you're a smell person, you probably like to have like nice scents, smell around you. You can use your five senses to practice stress management. You can use your physical. If you're a touch person, what are some things that you like to touch? That things around you. If you are eyesight, some people like things to be seen. They like to go to arts and stuff like that. So use your five senses to calm you down, to focus on the things you like to do to stress, to reduce stress.
Thank you very, very much for that one. I love that advice you gave because it's something I know it's something that money cannot buy. You can't buy it anywhere in the market. But of course, we still have you talking to us. Olakunbi, stay with us. Definitely still educating us on mental health for women. And we have more questions. Trust me, my co-host has a lot of questions. But for now, what do we have to do?
Oh, we're going for a breaker. Before we go for the break, I'm going to tell you that we have a lot of questions to ask you when we come back, especially me. I have a lot in my mouth to ask you. Okay, so we're going for a short breaker and we're going to be taking a tip on mental health for women.
Tips for personal development. Keep learning. The ability and desire to learn are powerful skills that can have a positive impact on many areas of your life, including professionally. Learning can take place in a traditional sense through reading or studying, or in a more interpersonal sense through listening. Either way, it's a crucial aspect of personal development. Education has always had economic ramifications. For many, learning can feel like a luxury. However, there are more resources than ever for individuals looking to expand their knowledge. Whether you take advantage of free programs online or resources like the library, there are plenty of opportunities to learn. Another important aspect of learning is listening. Listening is a powerful learning tool that will help you develop your interpersonal skills and relationships. Volunteer your time. Volunteer opportunities are a wonderful way to do some good, learn some new skills, and gain valuable perspective. While volunteering, there are skills that a volunteer coordinator would love to teach you, but that you might otherwise never learn. Helping others can also aid in your personal development by growing your ability to empathize, as well as by expanding your worldview. Experience new things and places. As with volunteering and learning, traveling is a vital part of gaining perspective. It can be easy to forget that there are people and places that are radically different from what you're used to. Get creative. Creativity promotes self-awareness, which is an important aspect of personal growth and development. It's unnecessary to be a particularly skilled creative in order to experience the benefits of creativity. Whether you decide to dance, draw, write, photograph, play music, act, or choose any other creative pursuit, you will find that the act of creating is cathartic and ultimate. Make your health a priority. Personal growth requires commitment and self-discipline. It means prioritizing what is good for you rather than what's easy. Treating your body with care and respect is an important part of your individual development.
Welcome back, Ola. Do we still have Ola there? Can we have Ola back to the screen, please? Welcome back. Like I said, a lot of questions to be asked, and I'm going to go straight just going to go direct. There's no point turning around. Okay, so how do I have to get to know that I have mental health, and can it be cured?
Well, first of all, yes. Well, the cure is there's recovery. I would say recovery. And so recovery looks different for everybody. But yes, how do you know what are the signs of mental health? Well, first of all, it depends on the time. So there are regular stress that things that happen to us that we're able to manage, but there are when things have gone past, for example, for depression, when things have gone past 2 weeks, when you are, for example, experiencing symptoms of where you're oversleeping or can't sleep, like where you are sad, consistently sad for the past 2 weeks, you're crying non-stop, or you can't get out of bed, you are not your usual self, you're not able to concentrate at work or at school, you're not able to but you're not able to concentrate at work or school. You're not able to, the things that you like to do, you're not doing them as much. Sometimes some people are thinking about suicide. So there are a lot of things that happen that those symptoms and more, and it affects people differently. You're easily irritable, angered. So those are some signs. When those things have happened to you consistently for the past 2 weeks, I would say that those are signs that you need to go and see a mental health professional, or you need to seek for help. And so for you to have a mental health disorder, there's a period of time that we look at to identify the symptoms and say, yes, this is a mental health disorder. And so can it be that recovery is very possible? Right, there are a lot of people that have mental illness, and that have recovered. So first of all, I want to say mental health is different from mental illness. Mental health is what we all have: our thinking, our mind, our the way we think, we behave, we act. Right, that's our mental health. Right, and we all have mental health. We don't all have mental illness. Right, mental illness is when our thinking, our behavior, or our thoughts are becoming distorted, or they are becoming when we're having issues with the way that we think, or with our feelings, when they are abnormal, right, for the period of time, right, when they are not above the range. Our range is, we've moved above the range, then we need to say, okay, this is something that is concerning and I need to seek out for help. And yes, recovery is possible.
Okay, thank you. So can we say nagging is mental health or mental health illness? When you nag,
well, it depends on the.
You just
it depends on the context of it. Nagging.
Where are we going to classify it?
I'm sorry. Could you finish your thought? I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's fine. I'm okay. I'm just asking. Nagging. Where are you going to classify nagging to? Is it to mental health illness or mental health?
Well, nagging is a habit. It's not it. So it's just depending on what exactly it is. Nagging can be a sign of a negative thought pattern that could be a part of a behavior, but I wouldn't call nagging itself a mental illness. I think it is a habit. It's a thought pattern that happens, and it's like a habit that happens, and that's like your reaction to something. I won't call it a mental illness. No.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to ask, since we're stating what are the examples of nagging, we have a lot to ask about that. Now, let me take anxiety. Let me explain the kind of anxiety I'm talking about. Anxiety in the sense that, okay, there's this thing. Anytime, a woman or a man tells you, I would like to see you. Now, there's this anxiety, your heart starts beating fast. You're like, okay, what did I do? Especially when it has to do with your spouse. When he tells you, we need to sit and talk. Or when a woman tells a man, we need to sit and talk. Like, we really need to talk. Now, obviously, I do not like how that sounds, but there's this heartbeats racing so fast. You feel like your blood is pumping more than
you want to know what
more than the waist pumping. You want to know. You have this anxiety. You're nervous. Your hands are shaking. You can't concentrate. and until you hear what is up. Do you think, I don't want to say mental health, well, let's say, do you think it's part of anxiety could actually mean that there's a mental health condition that you need to probably attend to before it gets to something that will become a problem, right? Or do you think it's just something that is normal for every human being to be anxious about, okay, what is it that they want to tell me?
I really think that anxiety is a very normal reaction to it. People react to anxiety differently. Anxiety is just the manifestation, the physical manifestation of fear, basically, right? So we all have fears. Is it good for us to be fearful? No. But we have fears, yes. So if you're anxious, it's just that, like you said, somebody told you something, your mind tells you, oh, it must be something bad, and then your body starts to pound. So anxiety is just physical manifestation of fear, of what you're thinking, negative thinking. So everybody has it. It's very normal to be anxious, right? That's why the Bible says to be anxious for nothing, right? It's a natural thing. However, when you start to have it consistently, and it starts to disrupt your life, it starts to disrupt your thinking, it starts to disrupt your when you do it, the way that your everyday life, you can't sleep, you're anxious, you're thinking constantly about worried about things, it affecting your work, your school. Then we have that's when we say, okay, there might be a mental illness and you need help. You need to go seek out help. You need medication. Some people use medication to help address anxiety, but that we all get anxious, that is a very normal reaction. How we handle it is different, but it's for us to say something is a mental health illness or a mental disorder. There's a time limit for you to have it, for us to say yes, you need help. When things starts to interrupt your life, when things starts to affect you, where you can't function normally, and you are having that symptom over and over again, then that's when we say, okay, yes, you need to come in and then have somebody to be seen, or you need, some medication management or something to help manage the anxiety.
Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Just in continuity to that question. Now, I've met with someone that she's always very anxious. Now, like you said, if it's a normal thing, yeah, it's fine. It's normal to be anxious and all of that. But it became a regular thing. Like, she can't even handle anything. Like, the only solution she believes is just be happy around her. She just has to be happy. So anyone who's giving her a reason to start thinking, like, what's going on, there's this anxiety. And sometimes it blows out of proportion. She could blow out and explode and rant and say things that which obviously when she calms down, she's like, she doesn't mean them, but there's this explosion at the end of it. And of course, to her, she feels like, okay, maybe that is her. She said maybe she's depressed, maybe the anxiety, she did not control it at some point, so there's this explosion. Now, she spoke to some persons, and the persons told her that I think it was more like she was beginning to tilt towards, like you said, a mental health issues where she needs to talk to someone, because now the anxiety is becoming an explosion where she doesn't even care where she is or what she's doing. She just wants to get it off her chest so that she could live or breathe again, according to her. Well, now at this point, do you think we can certifiably say that that is a mental health condition and needs to be attended to immediately?
I would say, based on the things that, of course, I'll need more information, but I would say, based on the things that you've told me, she definitely, yes, sounds like she needs some mental health, mental therapist to help her. Because what they would need to help her with is practicing how to breathe, right? Practicing some coping skills and how to manage, it seems like she, frustration tolerance skills. It feels like when she's frustrated, she doesn't know how to handle the frustration, and because of that, she explodes. So yes, so that's some of the things that the therapist will help her, the skills that the therapist will help her to acquire, to help manage, for her to calm down when she's stressed.
Okay, thank you very much, Patricia.
Thank you for responding to her. I hope she's hearing us.
Yes, she is. Definitely, so she's supposed to watch this program.
Yes, I hope so. Okay, thank you. So my question, I don't know, maybe in the process of talking, answering the questions we've been asking, you probably would have answered such questions. But I really want you to hit it on the nail so that our viewers they could, pick it out one by one. Okay, so the question is, what are the main causes? What can you mention that are the main causes for mental health? Just a few, maybe 1, 2, 3, so they could, point them out and understand our topic for today.
The main causes of mental illness. Okay. So the main causes for mental illness, there's so many. It could be genetic based. For some people, it could be that their parents have struggled with depression, and so that we have said that there's research that links that anxiety and depression have a genetic component, right? So, and also for some people, it's just stress, right? Sometimes, stress over stress, and there are different types of stress. There is stress that happens that we're able to cope with, everyday stress that just we manage, but there's stress that keeps on going on and on and on non-stop. Like it comes and it overwhelms. For example, when there's a traumatic experience, right? Our brain is not able to handle it. And so for some people, and those traumatic experiences can affect people differently. For example, the traumatic experience can be there was an accident, there was a death, a sudden death, or even unplanned, death that, somebody has been sick, death of a loved one. So those are some things that can affect people. Grief can affect people, can cause people to have some, have mental illness if they haven't been dealt with properly. Also, life situations, right? Said the stress that has now become a regular thing. Sometimes medical conditions also cause stress, right? Cause mental illness. For example, people that are diabetic have, things of having depression and anxiety, and so they have to manage that. Although, if of course, even having a life-threatening disease can also cause mental health challenges. Our childhood, if we have a lot of people have childhood trauma, things that were not resolved as a child or things that we're exposed to as children. We all know that when you've exposed, we're talking about the ACEs now, adverse children experiences. There are some things that we were exposed to as children. If they were not addressed, they have said, there's research that has said that if you're exposed to domestic violence, physical assault, sexual abuse, and a lot of other traumatic experience, you're exposed to, your parents were exposed to, you're exposed to just a lot of traumatic experiences as kids, there's a high chance that you're going to have developed mental illness at the end. So there are a lot of other things, but those are some of the things that can cause mental illness in the long run.
Thank you so much. She's telling me time, but one more question, please, in just 1 minute. Okay, some months ago, we heard the story of a woman that jumped into the lagoon from the Third Mainland Bridge. What do you think that was? Was that mental health illness or mental health?
Well, like I said, we all have mental health, right? So I would have to find out what exactly it is. It's jumping out, it seems like she must be overwhelmed. Sounds like there's been some issues going on. For me to diagnose her with a mental illness, I have to understand what exactly that's happened, how long she's been feeling that way. It could be she's just overwhelmed, something happened, it might be a situation that happened that just, triggered her, and she felt like the best way to handle it is to jump into the lagoon. But there are circumstances that we have to talk to find out. She could be in the stage of starting a mental illness, and I don't know. But so we need more information for us to diagnose her with any mental illness. But she definitely seems like she was overwhelmed and thought that was the best option for her, which is very sad. And that's one of the reasons why we have to talk more about mental illness, so people know how to deal with things that happen. Right.
Okay, honestly, we need to bring you back to talk about dealing with mental health.
True.
Now, we're gonna next time we're bringing you, we're talking about, like we said, we'll expatiate on the symptoms of you knowing that okay, I think you're about to develop a mental health problem, and of course, then we'll talk about dealing with it, even probably without even really needing to go to a therapist. Because trust me, with the times that we are right now, when you talk to a layman to go meet a therapist, they will tell you what? Because trust me, people that would rather go over the counter to get drugs to take care of themselves without any prescription
Prescriptions.
will go to a therapist? No way. So we need to just have a way to be able to give this information to them so they can help themselves. Like just like you said, is was probably overwhelmed. Just like the other lady I shared a story, they need a breather. They need something to distract them,
Yeah.
something to take their mind off what is, clouding their mind. But anyways, I would like to say thank you very much. Thank you so much for being on the
Thank you.
program. It's been a wonderful, interesting session with you. Thank you so much, Olakunbi, for being on the show. We do appreciate you and we love you from
And
all
I'd
over the
like to say
galaxy.
something real
We're saying
quick.
thank you again.
I'm sorry,
We
I just
enjoyed
want
the
to say
show.
something real quick. Next month, May, is a mental health awareness month. So it's really is a month of mental health awareness. So we definitely, it would be nice to have, more just so that people have, because that's what we try to put awareness about mental health in the month of May. So definitely.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, that's it from Olakumbi. She did amazingly, lovingly well. And yes, she has a foundation that has to do with mental health for women, which is the Living Vine Mental Health Foundation. Well, I'll say again, thank you, Olakumbi, for your daily for being with us. We'll invite you definitely another time to give us what I just talked about. So it's still going to be a mental health. Like you said, it's a mental health month, so it's always a good time to have you. Well, we've come to the end of the show, Patricia. Wrap up, let's go.
Oh, thank you, Ola, for coming. Thank you for sharing your talking to us about mental health. Like Blossom said, we'd like to have you again because a lot of questions that we couldn't complete today, we need to ask you all these questions and ask how one could get out of this mental illness or mental health problem. Thank you for joining us.